What's up? Today I want to show you how to create a 3D audio visualizer using the program Blender in just under 2 minutes. Let's get started. To jumpstart you in this process, I've created a few 3D models and put them available for free download on Gumroad. Follow the link in the description and you'll be able to grab these models you see here. In this video I'll be using the Rings and Cubes 3D audio visualizer. Enter 0 in for the price and add it to your cart. Then you can get, and you're able to download the Blender file. So you can click download, and then the file will pop up in your downloads. And this is a Blender file, so if you don't have the 3D modeling program Blender, go over to blender.org and give it a download. It's completely free. So when you first open this Blender file, it'll appear exactly like this. I've got a few workspace panels set up. The video sequencer, the graph editor, the geometry nodes editor, and the 3D viewport. And you can watch the animation happen if you click play on your timeline. You can see I've already got this grid rotating around in a circle at 360 degrees, as well as 2 different objects that are instanced onto this grid. These hot pink nodes are feeding into the scale and rotation of our objects. You can see rotation, scale, and then of this other instance, rotation and scale. So these hot pink nodes, where the W and the distortion here when it's green, the sound is baked into the F curve of this node. So I've got this node selected, and you can see this noisy wave over here, the F curve. That's actually the audio that's affecting that transformation over time, and I've baked in the audio to that F curve. So that's all you have to do. You'll select each of the hot pink nodes, go to your graph editor, select key, and bake sound to F curves. So you can just bake over mine that I've got here already. Key, bake sound to F curves. Select any audio you like, and before you leave, change the settings so you can have a frequency range if you wanted to do like only bass, 0 to 300, 0 to 500. Reduce my attack time, and leave the other settings the same. Bake sound to F curves. You can see it's totally changed, so this is your audio now that you've baked in, and there's this envelope modifier that you can use to click and drag and either invert or change simply by dragging past negative or positive, or really expand it so it's a lot more chaotic when the movement happens. Reduce it down to almost nothing and you'll barely notice the movement. So repeat that bake sound for each of the nodes. Noise texture, key, bake sound to F curves. And this time, let's go from 500 as a minimum to 1000. And bake sound to F curves. So you can see it's a completely different frequency range, and if it's doing something crazy, you can always drag that envelope modifier over on the side. And then continue on. Click on your next hot pink node, key, bake sound to F curves. Yet again, let's go from 1000 to 2000, a different audio range. A few more pink nodes, click on the pink node, key, bake sound to F curves. Take it from 2000 to 4000. One more node. Value, key, bake sound to F curves, 4000 to 8000. So now those 5 hot pink nodes are being driven by our audio in a sense. And now when the animation happens, this will all be responding to your audio track. But you've got one more step. You need to be able to hear your music. So open your video sequencer here. This panel is for adding sound. I'll be at the 0 keyframe, the beginning, and I'll add a sound strip, and we'll be able to hear our music now. Select the audio that you've been using, and that sound strip is there, and you can zoom in and see the length of the sound strip, 2840. So make that your length in your timeline, and now your animation is as long as your audio. So just as a quick test, let's see.
I'm so fucking cute, bitch.
Alright, it seems to work. And in our 3D model viewport, you can see this rectangular view. That's because there's already a camera in the scene. And when you select the camera, you can see keyframes down here in your timeline. So when I scrub through, the camera is actually moving around, slightly animated, just to add another level of movement to the scene. And if you want to align your camera keyframes with your music, since you changed the length, go back to keyframe 0, select all your keyframes and scale. It'll scale the keyframes from your keyframe slider. Camera goes back to the same exact location as it did when it started with these 2 keyframes. Add another level of detail to this. Your last step over here, cumulative transform, If you were to change these, it manipulates the entire object, the plane and the grid. If you scale, it scales the objects and the grid. So this could be an option for you to add more customization. You could keyframe these into the music as well. To start that off, all you have to do is select your geometry, select your value, and hover over it and press I. So this inserts a keyframe. Now you can do that same exact process we've been doing before of key, bake sound to F curves. So you don't have any F curves, but you'll be creating some. Select your frequency range. So that's a way that we were able to add even more transformation into this. But I've got them blank for now. Just for simplicity, all you need to really worry about are these 5 highlighted nodes. Side tip here, you can display the waveform in your audio. If you go up to your video sequencer and expand strip, sound, and then display waveform, it's a way for you to be able to see the waveform of the audio then. Now if we change our view over to rendered view, you'll be able to tell I already have lights, already have a camera, and a backdrop, even materials assigned. So really, once you get that geometry node tree set up, bake your F-curves in, that's all you need to do. Just save your file, file save as, and then render, and render animation. And I have it set to Eevee because it'll work a lot faster with rendering through a long animation like this. And that really is the extent of how I make these. I hope you have fun with this audio visualizer file, learned something new about geometry nodes, maybe learned something new about music, who knows. Be sure to stay tuned on my channel and subscribe to my Gumroad because I'll be uploading more free content regularly. See ya!